It's the clash of the titans, Max. QNT or Link? Which side of history will you stand on in the 2025 crypto bull run? Every choice, every coin can be the difference between an average life and the one of luxury you dream of. Two legendary altcoins butting heads in one of the fiercest debates crypto has ever seen, and today we'll predict which coin could change it all for you. It's more than just numbers, Max. It's your future. Are you ready for the ultimate face-off?
So calling it the ultimate face-off is most definitely not an understatement in this case. Quant and Chainlink's communities hate each other. And I can safely say that word is most definitely warranted in this case. They despise each other. They've been at war on Twitter now for quite a while. It doesn't seem to be stopping, and it's gave me part of a reason why I wanted to make this video. They are similar networks that I can make this video since Chainlink's moved in this direction, and I'll explain why in a second. And I thought, why not give my price predictions for both and see which one is the better investment for 2025 ultimately. Now, of course, all these opinions are my own. Not a financial advisor, as you guys know, but I know this video is going to piss whatever the winner is. But this video, of course, is going to piss the community that I don't choose off. It's as simple as that. So while I've got your attention now, before I actually get into the nitty gritty of this video, I want to say, for all of you people participating in this really stupid behavior, this community tribalism behavior, I want to say you are the problem in crypto. I'm happy to call you out in this case. It's one of the reasons why I'm embarrassed to say, hey, I'm in crypto, because it's like we're dealing with adult children here, right? You go on Twitter, we go on YouTube, whatever it is, and we have these maxis saying, hey, my project's better than your project because my project has da-da-da-da-da-da. It's so stupid. I mean, come on, guys. Really, are we going to bicker? We should be on the same side here, looking to grow this industry. It's one of those things where you deal with people's, family, friends, or finances, right? And when you start dealing with people's money, they get very, very sensitive and on edge, and we have to reap the consequences, unfortunately, as, bystanders, like most of us probably are in this case. So I want to say for the record, full warning, if you go down below and see people, raging and screaming about the answer to this video, you know who the problem is. So let's now get straight into the meat and potatoes of the video. Which one of these altcoins is the best investment, essentially, for 2025, right? But why these two? Well, they are quite similar now, thanks to Chainlink's move into an interoperability-based thing, right? They've got CCIP out. It's very similar to Quant's Overledger or Secure Asset Transfer Protocol, right? They do tokenization, at least they can do tokenization, secure asset transfers, Web 2, 3 interoperability, plus a lot more as well, right? So very similar now, or at least one function of Chainlink is very similar. Long story short, again, they're now competing for the same markets at different levels. In my opinion, they are different levels. Quant is better at one certain thing or multiple things. Chainlink's more focused in one direction, so it's all very nuanced, but ultimately they are sort of in the same area. You can kind of group them in the same area. So of course, this has sparked a rivalry between the two communities. They are very two passionate communities, and of course, they just butted heads very, very quickly there. So why these two amounts? Why 274 Chainlink? Why 23 Quant? Well, it's $2,000 more or less at today's prices equally. So I think $2,000 invested in either of these projects, as we'll see with the price predictions in a minute here, which can do what I call, financial freedom. It can create financial freedom for people who can only invest $2,000, which is not a lot of money. So in this case, we'll look at some prices in a minute here. That most definitely can be a very beneficial factor. So first of all, market caps. Funnily enough, Chainlink's market cap's 4 times larger than Chainlink. 4 times, right? That'll actually work into Chainlink's benefit. That'll actually work into Quant's benefit. Over here, we have the supply. So Quant has 46 times less in supply. Now, a lot of people in crypto get this wrong. People believe, and I thought for the longest time, hey, low supply is good. Low supply equals better because it's going to pump up more. If one person bought 12 million, if 12 million people bought one token, that's all the supply bought up. Well, you're wrong. All right. It's not like stocks. Stocks, you can only buy one share at one time. You can't buy any denomination of a share. You can't buy half a share. Crypto, you can buy denominations, in Quant's case, up to 16 points. So you don't buy 300 Quant tokens if you have $300. What do? You buy $300 worth of Quant tokens. Very different. So this is not a negative thing for Chainlink. I want to point that out there very much so. Over here for the trading volume, right? So interestingly enough, and this won't really play into any significant factor, we are in a bear market, right? There is a lot more trading volume happening over here for Chainlink, actually 19 times more, which is actually a lot. but again, it's not a significant factor. And remember, it is 4 times larger than Quant as well. Ultimately, the key takeaways here, Quant is 4 times smaller than Chainlink without the chance of a supply shock. What do I mean by that? Well, over here, I was talking over here about a positive supply shock, right? A good thing. It doesn't benefit from that. But here, I'm talking about a negative supply shock, meaning there's not going to be some crazy inflation happening with Quant, which is a good thing. It plays into its chances again. Different story if, Quant was releasing, 120% of its supply over the next couple of years, because then the small factor, it being 4 times smaller than Chainlink, won't really play as much into effect. But in this case, of course, it does, because the team hold the remainder of the tokens. There won't be this crazy supply shock between now and 2025. So, of course, it has the benefit of that as well. This means that Quant instantly has a higher chance to pump more than Chainlink. As simple as that. Simple as that. Smaller project. If the news is even across both, Quant will perform better for investors, right? Now, other factors do include news, positive or negative, upgrades, narrative peaks, so on and so forth. So while Chainlink is 4 times larger in terms of the market cap size, we don't really know what's going to happen in the future. For example, there might be some amazing news that happens with Chainlink. They might partner with a massive company or companies that might make the 4x in market cap irrelevant. It might just spike to whole new levels. We don't know this. But we can't factor it in because we'll be here till the sun comes up with no hair on our head, right? So let's get into the price predictions for 2025. But first, we have to look at some variables. Number one is the expected supply increase. Both networks, we can kind of say they will increase their supply. Chainlink, let's just say 670 tokens. So quite a little bit of an increase in supply, but we do worst case. We do worst case because from there, it's only going to be better. And Quant, I don't even think this will be available for Quant. That's increasing the current tokens by about 2.5 million. Again, let's just look at worst case here. Very, very worst case, right? That's almost 100% circulation. So current market dominance, this will play into our price predictions, right? So right now, we have Chainlink about 3 times larger than, or more market dominant, should I say, than Quant at 3.76 or 0.376. Quant is 0.116. It's funnily enough that the market cap's 4 times more, but the market dominance is 3 times more, right? That's probably more favorable for Quant. Last bear market dominance, this is important. Why? Well, we'll look at it in a second here. Last bear market dominance for Chainlink was 0.38% and for Quant was 0.022%. So over the bear market to the last bull market, Chainlink went up 5x to 1.81% and Quant went up 11x to 0.237%. Now, as you guys should know, market dominance does not mean that it's a direct reflection on the market cap. Market dominance spikes at different times to the market. For example, if this was 1.81% of, let's just say the market cap goes to 3 trillion, like it pretty much capped out at the last bull run, well, 1.81% is roughly speaking, let's just keep it simple here and say $180 billion, right? Which is quite a lot. But if it spiked at the 1.81% at a time when the global market cap wasn't 3 trillion when its peak, it was at 1.5 trillion, well, you're always going to have a lower number than this, even though it's still 1.81%. So keep in mind, and that was actually the case with Chainlink, it spiked way, way, way before the bull run. So keep in mind that these guys spiked at different times, mean different things, but we can use this as a benchmark. This is the only benchmark we essentially have data to allow us to have an indication into the future, right? So in this case, we have 2 major variables, 2 major problems, right? One, we have to ensure Chainlink and Quant maintain full short or gain market dominance. We have to see what that looks like on different levels, and also what the global market cap will be if it goes to 5 to 10 trillion at peaks. Now, anything in the middle of that is fine. Most of the consensus in the communities is that 5 is going to be the minimum and 10 will be the max. I personally think it's more like 3 could be the minimum and 8 or 9 trillion is the max. I'm a little bit more bearish, but let's just use what most people do think, right? And so we come to this monstrosity of data. My monstrosity is the nicest word I can use here. It's just a mind dump of information, okay? And it looks confusing, it looks confronting, but let me just break it down very briefly. I'm not going to go into details. I'm going to give you guys this sheet to look through. Again, going into details here will extend this video to half an hour long. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to show you how I come to these numbers, right? And so, of course, they're just carbon copies. What we've done here is taken the current market dominance. In Chainlink's case, it's rounded up to 0.38%. And what we've done here is worked on what the multiples were in the last bear to bull run, it's 5x, right? And funnily enough, it's actually basically the same market dominance as what it was back then. Crazily enough, right? And so what does this mean? Well, again, we can use this to guess what it will be at each of these market cap levels. 5 trillion minimum, 10 trillion max. All right, so if it maintains its current dominance, this would be the price for Chainlink on the low side of things, at the very lowest global market cap. Okay, so it's the very, very lowest, you could almost say, right? Over here, we have the lowest on the high side, right? The worst case and the best case, that makes sense. The worst case, if it stayed its current course on its market dominance, but the global market cap went up. Now, if this happened, right, if Chainlink's market dominance stayed the same as what it was now, but the market cap from the globally speaking went up 10x, we're at about 1 trillion right now. What does that mean? Well, that means Chainlink absolutely performed abysmally, horribly, because what really should happen then is Chainlink should ideally 10x with the global market cap. The global market cap goes up 100x. Chainlink's dominance should go up 100x, theoretically speaking, right? Ideally, right? So in this case, if we have a look over here, what happens if Chainlink's goes up 2.5x on the other side of it, right? So it falls short, is if, again, we just multiply the 0.38% over here by, 2.5x, and it's still going to fall short. Why? Because the global market cap's 5x from where we are right now to 1 trillion, but Chainlink's only 2.5x, right? So it hasn't quite met. It followed the market, if you will. Over here, of course, if Chainlink goes up 5x, well, it's maintaining its dominance now because the market 5x, Chainlink 5x with it, meaning that if you were someone like sprinkling, dollar signs on the market, you're sprinkling it very evenly. Everything's going up at the same time, okay? But if it outperformed in its dominance, so if it went up, let's say the global market cap 5x over here, well, if Chainlink 10x its market dominance, outperformed by actually double, this would be the price, right? Double, quite interesting. Now, over on the high side of things, again, the same thing applies. So what happens if we had the current dominance, worst case, 2.5x, 5x. Now 5x is what it did before. Okay, 5x is what it did before, but remember that we are talking about the highest possible side here. So again, let's 10x it as well. So let's say it maintains now its dominance with the global market cap. Okay, global market cap now 10x's, rather than Chainlink just 5xing, therefore falling short, it now 10x's as well. So you see here before, we 10x'd. On the low side, it outperforms, but if we 10x on the high side, it's maintaining now, all right? And now I also put in an extra variable over here. What happens if it outperforms the 10 trillion global market cap? I'm not going to count this in, okay? It was come to $709. I'm not going to count it in. That is just preposterous. That's like the best case scenario. I don't see that ever happening, so I crossed it out, not just for Chainlink, but also for Quant, right? Came up to $11,500 for Quant, right? Same thing applies in this case. Round up to 12% or 0.12%. And because Quant actually 11x in the last bull run, we're going to do the same thing, but again, falls short of. So falls short is 5x, maintains it at 10x, goes up to 1.5x. Now the thing is, of course, it technically in this case is different to Chainlink because if it goes up, if it loses half of what it did in the last bull run, it's maintaining its dominance because it's a 5x. Does that make sense? I know this can be very, very confusing for everyone. On the contrary, if it goes up what it actually did last bull run, 11x, but 10x, it's outperforming the 10 trillion. But if we apply the 10x to the global market cap 10xing from now, it's just maintaining. Does that make sense? That is so damn confusing. And I was wondering, like, should I even put this in a video? I was like, people are going to tune out when I start talking about this. But again, you can't deny the information on here. I must say, before we move into the actual answer, that yes, the reason why Quant 11x and Chainlink only 5x is most likely to do with the fact that Chainlink was a larger project at the time. The chances are that, again, Quant wasn't. Now, again, just remember something very important here. What was the dominance at the top of the bull run? A lot less for Quant. Now, if you have a look at what the dominance is right now, it's basically half of that, right? So you can damn well bet it's likely going to go a lot more than that. And so again, this was the most accurate information we can pretty much use in this case. So the answers were in this, side of Chainlink, $2,000 today, 274 link tokens will get you a minimum of $43, so $11,000, possible $43,600, max $116,000, right? And how did I come up with these numbers? These numbers were just the average of the lows, the mid-levels, and then of course the max, excluding this crazy number down here, right? And that's what they come to, right? So $43, $159, and $426. Now my price prediction chart, if you guys have seen it over here, actually came to $230. So that's a 34x where we are today. Again, I think that we probably could see anywhere between this range here, most definitely. And so over here for Chainlink, right, it come to 13,000 at the bottom, 99,900 for the mid, and 166K for the very, very top. So, you know, the thing is, I think with this situation with Quant, it's a little bit hard to say because, again, it did have that explosive market dominance. Now, again, they did time differently, but I want to say that we have to look at some additional variables if you want to get real accurate with it. There is no accurate answer, but what this will provide you is between these two numbers here is an exit plan, right? That's the whole point of price predictions. It's not to time the exact top. It's for exit strategies, right? So you don't want to comes up. You don't want to try to time the top of what you think over here. You want to have between the minimum and the possible level, you sell like this. That way you're securing the average over here. And even though you might not time the top, you know how much money you're going to get out of the market potentially, okay? So with that said, in this case, of course, Chainlink wins. Chainlink wins by kind of a landslide in this case, but I do think it was propped up a little bit too much by, again, just the fact that it 10x and we're using 10x multiples, whereas it probably won't 10x in the next bull run. Just a thought. So guys, with that being said, thank you so much for watching this breakdown. I know it was a bit confusing, but please absorb it, use the sheet, and I'll let you know how it all goes. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye.